Matt Makens here, time for an AgNow weather check. Heat is the big thing, plus some areas of monsoonal moisture, which is great. We'll need that water as drought is growing in that similar region. Hazards ahead, all these red colorations, that's for extreme heat. So in this case, much above normal temperatures and a lot of record-setting temperatures will be taking place throughout the week ahead. Where's the moisture? Well, we do have some flooding occurring along the Mississippi. We also have heavy rainfall that may result in isolated flooding throughout the Rocky Mountain region. So from about Albuquerque or so all the way up to Cheyenne, very heavy thunderstorms from the 15th to the 17th, and we'll also have some moisture in Arizona and New Mexico at about that same time. A little bit of a monsoonal surge here. Again, overall the monsoonal season hasn't been necessarily great, although there is and has been some valuable water there. Let's check those precip totals in just a second. First off, just a quick look at some of the records that are on the way with the heat. A lot of triple digits, 110 out there in the Central Valley of California, 101 for Denver. So obviously hot, and the east remains hot as well. With temperatures like this, especially placed where they are, I know we've got that monsoon trying to kick in, but with record-setting temperatures around like Cheyenne to Sterling, Colorado to Denver, very dry already. It's nice to have the rain coming in, but very dry, and with record-setting temperatures, there's a rapid onset of drought that's been happening there. So we've got to get those monsoonal rain showers in here into that region to help. Same thing for the Panhandle of Texas. Record-setting temperatures. It's been dry. Things will get dry even faster, obviously, with that heat. So drought expansion is expected there. And I'll show you drought expansion in a moment. Let's turn to the soils now. Just generally speaking, where is the drought at the moment? Pacific Northwest has quite a footprint of drought. The southwest does as well, into the central and southern plains and off to the east. As you look at that map, we've already seen the drought growth really progress over the last several months. El Nino helped a lot. And remember, El Nino shrank our drought footprint to one of the lowest levels in a long time. Well, that footprint is starting to grow again. As El Nino has weakened, it's gone. We're waiting. We're sitting in a neutral period of time now, and eventually we may head into La Nina later this year, and that will rapidly expand the drought. And with that in mind, I'll show you where the drought may expand just this month. It'll continue expanding beyond, but just this month, where are we looking? And so this map is based on persistent droughts, or kind of the lighter shades in here. That's where it's just going to continue. Where we may see growth is from Abilene, Texas, down towards San Antonio. A huge area of drought growth possible here throughout Oklahoma into the Flint Hills, Osage region. A lot of drought growth here in the northern Rockies and pockets there in the Pacific Northwest, and quite a little bit of a drought here out across the east too. So as I mentioned, the drought growth is progressing, and that's what we're expecting this month. And the drought will continue to grow beyond. Where are we seeing some improvements? Mostly Florida into southern Georgia. We can get more specific now. Here's a timeline of the thunderstorms, the rain showers as they progress during the next week or so. This animation will play, but I know sometimes it can be kind of hard to track this watching the video. So grab that little ball down there, little scroll wheel, and you can pause. And in fact, from here on out, I'll just post the images. You won't hear me talk, but I'll post all the images in a little timeline. You can feel free to just scroll through and create your own time series. And with that, you have a good idea of when the rain may be moving your way. How about totals? Well, for the southwest, again, the monsoon is going to be heaviest in Mexico. So down here. For Arizona and New Mexico into Colorado, yeah, we'll pull some of that moisture northward. And this looks like quite a blanket of rain. We'll zoom into that in just a second. But when you look at that overall, it looks like a lot of rain. But again, this is going to be scattered thunderstorms. So not everybody there is going to get the inch, 2, 3, 4 totals. It's going to be very isolated. Just those scattered thunderstorms as they move through. I know the map can be misleading sometimes with that preset, but it's trying to just cover everybody with if you get that thunderstorm. Better storm coverage here, kind of centered between Omaha, Des Moines to St. Louis, Memphis, and Oklahoma City. Between there, we're looking at inch, maybe 2 to 3 inch totals. Off to the east, we have quite a little bit of rainfall. not quite enough to help with the drought onset that's happening. Coastal areas will be quite wet, and the wet season for central and southern Florida is certainly progressing. Another area of moisture is, Manitoba down into Minnesota. We've had a wet phase here, in some cases way too wet. There's some folks up to the north in Ontario that are saying, hey, we've got to shut it off. We've got to do something. We've got to get to work. So there are some places with too much water, but there's going to be a healthy swath again for this next week. But kind of the two areas of focus for hay country, for the grasslands, this monsoon really needs to pan out for Colorado and New Mexico. It's probably too late for a lot of hay producers, especially in northern Colorado or the southeastern part of Colorado, sections of New Mexico. Probably too late to get a cutting of hay in, even if this rain does materialize, but at least it's water in the ground. And then as you look into southern Missouri, here from St. Louis down to Springfield and Joplin, that's the secondary bullseye. But you can see some drier areas here, central Texas and parts of Oklahoma, and that's why that drought growth is kind of coming from here and going to be spreading out throughout the month ahead. And speaking of the month ahead, here are the weekly outlooks. We'll start off with temperatures. This week, hottest out to the west. Next week, we'll have a little pocket of some cooler weather that comes through with some of the rain showers for the central states, but it doesn't last long. We kind of burst back up into some heat. So as you look at the next 4 weeks, what grabs my attention is there's a lot more reds on the map than blues. So plan on a hotter weather forecast as we go through the next 4 weeks into early August. As far as moisture is concerned, we chatted about this week here, but into next week, a swath of some moisture here with that cooler weather for the central plains off into the east, and then we get drier. You see from the 26th of July into the 2nd of August and the first week of August, there's some Gulf states moisture and a little bit of moisture here in the northern high plains, which will be valuable obviously for that drought area, but we'll not necessarily indicate on these maps a hurricane, tropical storm, that kind of impact. So keep that in the back of your mind. Gulf Coast states, yeah, there's some wet season, thunderstorms, but not shown here will be that risk for hurricanes as we progress over the weeks and months ahead. That's this week's AgNow Weather Report. Hope it gets you caught up. Matt Makens here. We'll see you next time.